Hello there everybody, Sabara92 aka Nightmare, and welcome back to Irae Amantes Amentes. Okay, so, last episode, intense as all hell, but, well, a couple of the comments, specifically you guys, were, said that if I thought that was intense, then I'm not ready for the rest of this novel. Oh, goody! Good God. I'm sorry, I haven't seen a freaking fight that one-sided since One Punch Man. Enough said. Anyway, that was entirely just one-sided fighting, Silver Man fuckface. I don't know. That was brutal. I mean, the dude also had friggin' balls of steel. Not even a kick to the groin did anything. Also, Rusalka? Thanks for the heal, I guess. So, we also got a little bit of information that Ren might actually be the murderer. However, I'm still of the mind that maybe he's not, because we did get to hear, I heard a girl laughing in the distance. So, I'm gonna kind of keep in mind that maybe Ren isn't the actual killer. That's what I'm thinking. For at least right now. It was a miracle I made it back home in one piece after all that. I must have been unconsciously steeling myself, as nausea assaulted me the moment I passed through my front door. Unable to suppress it, I threw up all over the entryway. Even after vomiting this much, the spasms in my stomach refused to settle down. Ugh. Damn it. This had to be a joke of some sort. Kasumi was gonna lecture me again if she saw the mess I'd made. I had to do something about this before she came over in the morning to wake me up. I held back my endlessly welling nausea as I cleaned up my own vomit. Halfway through, unable to hold it in any longer, I threw up in the sink, but...
Kasumi...
She was probably sleeping like a log right about now. Of course. I kept internally apologizing to her for making so much noise in the middle of the night. I'd make sure there was no stench left, so I hoped she'd forgive me. I didn't want her to ever find out that I might have been a murderer, that I was attacked by some strange people, and that I was so pathetically scared to death right now. I knew how much of a worrywart she was. She'd probably cry her eyes out. I needed Kasumi to be her usually stupid, cheerful, and smiling self. Otherwise, I'd lose it. So... I knew I was breaking my promise by keeping secrets from her, but I hoped she'd forgive me. I'd apologize to her eventually, probably sooner than later. With the urge to vomit up my stomach acid gone, I wiped my mouth with my cuff. Oddly enough, there were no spurts of blood or bloodstains to be found. My wounds really had healed. She called it first aid treatment, but why did it completely heal me? It defied common sense. I wished I could write the whole thing off as a dream, but still wrestling with those selfish thoughts, I took off my tattered clothes and threw them in the trash. Then after a minute's hesitation, I took a peek into Kasumi's room through the hole in the wall. Skimmed escaping through the hole in the wall. Oh, we actually have to see what her room is. Looks very modest and simple. Thank God. Although this kind of gives me a feel of a hospital room, honestly. I don't know, maybe it's just me. My consciousness began to fade out as I felt relief welling up inside me.
So れじゃあまず言い訳があるなら聞こうかな。裸で、しかも穴から上半身だけ出して、すごい寝相ですね、君は。何やってんのよ、マジで。
Whoops. My morning began with Kasumi lecturing me. As for why, well, it was just like she had said. I couldn't really blame her for being exasperated.
もしかして 呼ばい
No.
違う。
じゃあなんで裸？
暑かったんだよ。
あんた寒がりだって言ってたじゃない。
熱っぽくてな。
嘘、本当に？
Seemed like that was the wrong answer.
言われてみればなんか本当に顔色悪いね。熱測る？
On the other hand, Kasumi looked more perplexed than worried. I tried putting on a brave face, but it wasn't going well. I wasn't expecting that stupid lie to actually fool her.
今日は休んだ方がいいんじゃない？病み上がりなんだし、無理するのは良くないよ。
大丈夫。
It was true that I would have physically appreciated taking the day off, but I didn't feel like I could just hold myself up in my room. I needed something normal to erase the abnormal experience I went through yesterday. Abnormal? That's certainly putting it lightly.
行くよ俺。日数やばいし。
そんな1日2日で危なくなるほどシビアな出席日数だっけ？っていうか、あんた学校嫌いなんじゃ。
別に嫌いじゃない。好きでもないけど。
Right now, I kinda needed it. Holding my head, I attempted to stand up, but feeling lightheaded, I ended up collapsing on my bed. Unbelievable. I couldn't even do something that simple.
決まりだね。あんた今日は休みなさ
Fine, Mom.
い。なんだったら私も休んで看病とかしてあげよっか。
I think I'm fine at the moment. I might have some mental trauma, but I don't think you can help me with that.
ほら、おかゆとか作って、あーんみたいな。
I have had rice porridge. Then again, I've also had vanilla rice pudding. It's actually pretty tasty.
ちょっと何よ、嫌なら嫌って言いなさいよね。
いや。
うわ、何こいつ本当に言ったよ、ありえねえ。
違う、そうじゃなくて。
I found myself seriously conflicted for a moment. Since I couldn't move, I wondered if having her around would be safer. But that was a mistaken conclusion. It was morning, so Kasumi would be in less danger around all the everyday people commuting to school and work. It was better than her being alone with me in this place at the very least. I couldn't allow myself to take advantage of her goodwill.
学校には行く。だけどすぐには無理そうだから先行っててくれ。
大丈夫なの？そんなんで。
大丈夫。
That was all I could say. But I had to force myself to do so. Now that I'd said it, I couldn't turn back.
多分昼までには行けると思う。担任には適当に言っといてくれ。
わかった。じゃあ早く来ないと私を襲ってきたから KO しちゃいましたって言うからね。
Well, shit, now I have to come into school.
ああ、好きに言いふらしてくれ。
You're giving her too much power, Ren. Don't! In reality, that wasn't all that different from what actually happened. But now that I thought about it...
かすみ、テレビで何かやってたか？
どういうこと？
だからその、あれだよ。
Murder.
昨日もやっぱりあったのか？
ああ。
Kasumi idly cast around her eyes. Well, that was only natural. I didn't exactly ask in a good way.
今日はまだ報道されてなかったね。犯人も昨日はお休みだったんじゃないのかな。
Oh!
そうか。
So the body really did vanish. Wrestling with a number of complex feelings, I heaved a sigh.
このまま二度と起きなきゃいいのにね。
そうだな。
Kasumi didn't, or rather, no one aside from me and those three psychos knew about what happened last night. She didn't need to know. At the very least, it was probably best to keep it locked away in my heart until I felt ready to tell her. Even if I were to confess right here and now, no one would believe me without the body as proof. Not to mention the obvious question of how I made such a huge mess without any weapons. There was still a part of me that considered last night to have been a dream, or rather, a part of me that desperately wanted to believe that.
手間取らせて悪かった。お前も遅刻しないうちに行った方がいいぞ。
了解。じゃあそっちも早く後追ってきなさいよ。
I make no promises.
わかった。
覇気がない。
うざい、早く行け。
I drove Kasumi out of the room with a wave of my hand. I felt dizzy from raising my voice, but it wasn't enough to wear me out. I had to be stout-hearted. I didn't know how, but my wounds had healed, so this was probably mostly in my head. With that said, though...
かすみのやつ、やけにあっさり引いたよな。
She was quite fond of preaching, meddling in others' affairs, and was a complete worrywart. But it did truly come as a shock that she simply did as she was told without offering any complaints.
まあいいか。
A girl's biorhythms were too complicated for a guy like me to understand, as fickle as an autumn sky. Anyway, I needed to recover my strength. And with that in mind, I decided to rest for a while. Though I felt drowsy, sleeping was the last thing I could allow myself to do, and just as that thought drifted through my mind, I passed out. And so, I ended up staying still for about 4 hours. My condition was a far cry from what we called a full recovery, but the nauseous feeling in my chest had settled down. I had a headache from the lack of sleep, but I kept ignoring it. If I left for school now, I could probably make it before lunch break, although I couldn't even remember what classes I was supposed to have in the afternoon. Enduring my dizziness, I changed into my uniform and went outside. Suddenly, the red-haired girl and the white-haired boy just kind of show up. Hey, bitch, you ready to go for round 2? Oh god, why? It was cold. Goosebumps began to cover my entire body, but not due to the temperature. The scenery I should have considered familiar felt terribly off for some reason. Those freaks still lurked somewhere within this city. That thought alone made me see my normal route to school in a completely different light. My fear towards those mysterious unknown beings began to cast an ominous filter over my world. In any case, I needed to hurry on over to school. On my way, I debated whether or not to go through the park, but in the end, I decided to take a detour. I didn't want to go anywhere near that place right now. Fair point. I walked at a faster pace than usual, but as my condition forced me to take a few breathers along the way, 4th period had already ended by the time I arrived at school. At least you made it to school. Though, maybe this was just the right time to arrive fashionably late. With the school bell still chiming in the background, I spotted a familiar face come out through the gates. Imuro? Seeing her safe filled me with relief. Still, I wondered what she was doing here. After a few months, Himuro took notice of me after a few moments, not months, what the hell? Himuro took notice of me, no, fuck it. After a few months, we stood there entirely still, not moving, not breathing, completely stopped in time for a few months, and then finally, Himuro took notice of me as well.
こんにちは。今頃来たの、藤井君。
She wore the same old poker face as always. Was she going home?
ピンポン。私帰るところ。残念だけど、入れ違いだね。
Can you read my mind? Looks like my thoughts were written all over my face.
先輩、体調でも崩しましたか？
それは君の方じゃないの。顔、真っ白だよ。
Really? I couldn't exactly tell, but I wouldn't be surprised if it turned out to be true.
とっても美人。やつれた方とか、色っぽい。
Okay. Okay, wasn't okay.
怒りんぼだね。すぐそんな顔する。
余計なお世話ってやつですよ。
My tone was a bit harsh, but I saw no reason to be formal with her after all this time. Anyway, it only felt natural for me to have a rather offbeat conversations with her. More importantly, she was going home on her own in the middle of the day on a weekday, with barely anyone out on the streets.
先輩、今帰るのはちょっと。
私は帰るよ。誰が何と言っても帰るよ。神様の命令でも聞かないよ。
Okay.
まだ何か？
いえ。
Following a moment of hesitation, I ultimately caved in. She wasn't connected to me the way Kasumi was, so I figured it'd be best to keep the distance between us that way. For someone with so few friends, that felt like a painful choice, but...
じゃあ、俺は行くんで。先輩もなんでサボるのか知らないけど。さよなら。
She gave a light nod, to which I replied with a curt wave before letting her pass by me. I felt genuinely relieved as I proceeded to cross through the gate. Almost everyone here was my age, and the place was basically off limits to outsiders. Even though I was only on close terms with a select few here, this place still remained relatively free from foreign contamination. This was, without a doubt, a symbol of my day-to-day life, as well as a place I would literally call my fortress right about now. Man, who would have thought I'd be thinking of school like that one day?
藤井君
Potentially due to how lost I was in my own thoughts, hearing my name spoken out loud surprised me. As I reflexively turned around,
気をつけてね
I make no promises.
は
Careful? Of what? Himuro, paying no heed to my confusion, turned around and left, with nothing else to add, almost like she was in a hurry to get out of here as soon as possible. Unable to untangle the web of incomprehensible feelings taking hold of me, I simply stood there for a while, staring blankly into space instead of going after Himuro. Duh!
ちょっと今どこにいるの
That was a hell of a ringtone, dude! I might have stood there forever had Kasumi not picked that moment to call me on my phone.
聞いてるもしかしてまだ家にいるわけ
いや校門のとこだけど
そうなのあ、ちょっと待ってあ、いたいたはーいやっほーこっち見ろ
I turned around and saw Kasumi leaning out of a window on the third floor waving to me. As embarrassing as always.
気分どうよくなったよくなったんならさっさとこっちに上がってきなさい驚くよ
Is there cake? Or specifically smoothies?
すでにお前の大声で十分驚いてるんだけど
I could hear her loud and clear already. There was really no need to use the phone. Sighing, I held my phone away from my ear to escape the auditory nightmare. Well, I had no idea what happened, but she seemed to be as cheery as always. I wish she'd pass some of that energy to me.
すぐ行くだからもうわめくなよ
了解
And she didn't listen. Man, she really was loud. I entered the school, smiling bitterly to myself. However, I found myself suddenly assaulted by an intense sense of discomfort. No, oppression. Like the school itself had been thrown into the depths of the ocean, or the belly of a colossal beast. The air froze over and cracked. A grotesque, difficult-to-describe presence gradually encroached out of those cracks, like blood oozing from a fresh wound. Why, is Shiro here? No. It seemed more like everything in this place had changed from the way it was yesterday. Only barely, but enough to be felt with terrifying clarity. Oh, plot twist. What if those guys suddenly became students? Ugh, that'd be fun. I remember this welling up sense of nausea. It felt just like the one from yesterday. That mixture of blood, death, and decay. An odor thick enough to make one faint. The stench of murder. The two of them looked down on me just like they did last night. Oh my god! I was half correct. Hello there, Rusalka! My vision warped from the backlighting, despite it being noon. The rays of the sun seemed to wear the crimson hue of blood, at least to my eyes. Two girls towered over me in that light, wearing uniforms I'd been all too familiar with, yet their presence felt dreadfully out of place, like a colossal abnormality in the midst of the mundane. They looked graceful and sweet as flowers, yet they were in truth carnivorous plants in disguise, their thorns seeping only poison. There they stood, in a world disconnected enough from reality to make me firmly believe that...
はじめまして、藤井蓮くん。私はルサルカ・シュベーゲリン。
Can I call you Rusa?
こっちの怖い顔は桜井ケイ。素敵なところね、このシューレ。気に入ったわ。
Kei Sakurai. The red-haired girl, Rusalka, uttered her introduction with a mocking smile decorating her cherubic face. Did that getup mean she was a transfer student? In other words, the surprise Kasumi mentioned was...
ご名答。私たち同じクラスよ。
Oh!
あなたとかすみと。だから、ね、仲良くしましょう。
Sure. Zarathustra. Her last comment came not from her lips, but echoed directly in my head. The resulting headache felt so violent I found myself nearly falling down the staircase. The school was no longer my fortress, no longer my safe haven. Foreign substances had mixed into my day-to-day life. I could feel dread spreading throughout my body. The world as I once knew it crumbled to ashes with a thunderous roar. I couldn't escape this.
そうね楽しくやりましょう
Okay.
あなたが賢明ならいいけれど
Okay. One voice rang with playfulness, another with piercing severity. Locked in those two stares, I felt a hopeless sense of xenophobia, a fear towards the unknown, filling my chest. This day, hour, and minute marked the beginning of my day-to-day life's gradual collapse. And I was powerless to stop it. Oh. Okay. LDO in Shambhala, 7 out of 13. Swastikas, 0 out of 8. Chapter 2, Xenophobia, End. Well, we clear another chapter. On the outside, the two off-season transfer students grew accustomed to school without any problems. Rusalka Schwaglin, the cheerful and sociable exchange student who quickly ended up popular among boys and girls alike. Kei Sakurai, her taciturn, indifferent, and mature image served as a wall between her and the others, but rather than avoiding her, it felt more like others believed she was out of their league. They were polar opposites, but together they made a picture-perfect combination. Truth be told, it could be said that their appearance alone had taken complete control of the school. They had a talent for attracting followers around them just by being there. No plan, no violence, nothing. To call it kind of charisma would likely be quite apt, but I couldn't endure it all. What in the world were those two doing at my school? Or rather, what goal did they have in mind? It was a terrifyingly foolish question. They were here for me, to observe my day-to-day life. I had to pretend everything was fine. I couldn't show them a single opening, which also making sure to observe them in turn. The school now housed two dangerous beasts, and I was the only one aware of it. It had already been a week since Kasumi, Himuro, and the others, that is, all the students and teachers, had been unknowingly taken hostage. And that alone was hardly my only source of anxiety. I couldn't have dreams. In particular, I had to somehow prevent myself from sleeping at night. If I slept, people would die. I murdered people in my sleep. And almost as if to support that very notion, the murders had ceased ever since I stopped sleeping. Oh, shit, maybe... I'd spent the whole week on edge, unable to even take a proper rest. I wondered which would come first, madness or death. I felt my sanity crumbling, and the nightmare was still going on. Chapter 3, End of the Nightmare. I think I just broke my neck. Ow. The chime of the bell woke me from a light sleep. Though to be more accurate, I hadn't been completely asleep. A part of my consciousness still registered the sounds and people around me. I couldn't fall into a deep sleep, no matter what. Brief rests like that had proven to be effective, and somehow managed to keep me going throughout the week, though I didn't imagine it would last much longer. I slept 2 to 3 hours a day at most. They were all limited to classes, free periods, and after school. Apart from that, I didn't sleep at all. Even I found it reckless, but I couldn't think of any other solutions. My thoughts remained in a constant haze, my consciousness ever dim. Hell, I bet if I looked in a mirror I'd see a ghost of a man staring back at me. Kasumi had been worried too. The one piece of good news, though I didn't know if I should be glad or not, was that the serial killings had stopped. Some were reacting optimistically while others remained more nervous, but generally speaking, everyone here was thinking the same thing. Maybe the killer was no longer in the city. I would have been happy if that was the case, but I knew it wasn't. I had to somehow settle things as quickly as possible, regardless of whether I was the killer or not, regardless of who those two transfer students really were. I had to do it now, while my mind and body were still more or less functional. If this situation dragged on any longer, I had doubts if I could retain my sanity. As long as Sakurai and Rusalka remained here at school, I had to keep the act up. I couldn't predict what they'd do if I stayed holed up in my apartment, but during the times when we were all in our uniform at school, I'd have a chance to get in contact with them. That was the conclusion I'd come to after observing them for a week. If their goal was to mess up this place, they probably wouldn't go through the dull motions of pretending to be transfer students. I had realized as much a little while back, but I guessed it really was my own fear that kept me from taking a step forward. There was also the fact that I'd been too passive in observing their actions. But I felt it too dangerous to stall any longer. The problem was how I'd get in contact with them. I couldn't just invite them to lunch. What I had to do was create a situation where I didn't attract the attention of my acquaintances, particularly that of Kasumi, while also making sure there were still people nearby. That way I could talk to them privately. Yeah, that wasn't gonna work. Those two stuck out like sore thumbs. If possible, I wanted to avoid being left alone with them, but then, what was I supposed to do? I proceeded to fall prostrate on the desk, internally cursing the whole situation. It was time.
さ、ちょっと君。次、体育だから、これから私たち着替えないといけないんだけど。
Oh, sorry, I'll leave. Oh, right. Kasumi said something as I got out of my seat, but whatever it was went right past my ears as I left the classroom. As I glanced back on my way out, I noted that neither Sakurai nor Rusalka were there. They're probably watching me from a distance. What was I supposed to do? Kei Sakurai. She still seemed a touch easier to deal with. We'd only spoken a little, but at the very least, she was also Japanese. I could probably talk with her without being constantly on edge. Thought I spotted her at the end of the hallway. Yeah, that had to be her. After hesitating a bit over how I was going to approach her,
Sakurai.
In the end, I went for a frontal assault.
お前、体育に出ないのか？サボるんならちょっと付き合ってほしいんだけど。なあ、聞いてる？
The more I talked, the more I felt like a dumbass, but I kept going regardless. It kind of made me look like some sleazy pickup artist. Sighing ever so faintly, Sakurai gave me a glance.
驚いた。意外に大胆なのね、あなたって。
Well, to be fair, you kind of invaded my school, and I kind of have no choice in the matter, really.
だけどごめんなさい。せっかくのお誘いだけど乗れないわ。先約がある。
Oh.
先約？ここでか。
There shouldn't have been any normal students at this point who'd associate with Sakurai, meaning whoever she was meeting with didn't qualify as ordinary.
ルサルカと？
いいえ。でも安心しなさい。別に何をどうしようってわけでもないから。
I want to believe that, but I'm gonna not.
悪いけど、デートの相手なら彼女にしてもらってくれないかしら。
That's not really what I'm. No, don't contemplate it. Don't contemplate it.
そういうこと。私でよければいくらでも付き合うわよ。
And she's here. Hi. I turned around to follow Sakurai's gaze, only to find that Rusalka had snuck up behind me without as much as a sound. One could say I was caught between a rock and a hard place.
レオン、あなた何言ったのよ。レン君が緊張しちゃってるじゃない。
私は何も。彼が緊張しているなら、それはあなたが原因でしょ。自分の行動を鑑みてみなさい。正直、あれで好感を持たれていたら、彼の正気を疑ってしまう。
ひどいな。何自分だけ言いこぶっちゃってんのよ。感じ悪い。ごめんね、レン君。この子っては怖いでしょ。だから私とデートしましょう。
I had no intention of going on.
何よその顔。私じゃ不服？
I got nothing against hanging out with somebody that could possibly kill me. Trust me, I've got no problem with that. I feel like there's a bit of a misunderstanding here.
Yeah.
Though I'd gotten used to seeing her over the past week, Rusalka was like a completely normal schoolgirl here. I found myself unable to shake off my bewilderment at how different she was compared to our first meeting.
ねえ、もうひどいことしないからさ、あの時のことは許してよ。
Well, you did heal me. Refusing to forgive her would only make things more complicated. She was still very much a mystery to me, but I had learned not to carelessly pick a fight with her.
許す許さないは置いといて、桜井がダメならお前でもいい。付き合ってくれ。
Okay.
おいおい、私はレオンの次ですか？
I did not say that. You said that.
話がまとまったなら私は行くわよ。それからくれぐれも。
はいはい、ケーキは慎めでしょ。分かってますよ、それくらい。
I can already feel that she's probably gonna break a few of my bones.
じゃあね、レオン、あなたも少しここじゃ可愛く喋るように気をつけなさい。
そっちの方こそ猫をかぶりすぎて滑稽なことに早く気づいた方がいい。
Shaking her head in irritation, Sakurai turned to leave.
藤井君もよければまた誘ってちょうだい。待ってるから。
Ask you what? Never mind. And off she went, her raven locks swinging behind her. The contents of her line might have sounded almost affectionate, but she certainly made sure to voice it in the coldest of tones.
なんかあの子、レン君と話す時だけ妙に態度が違くない？いやあね、これだから差別主義者は。
Yeah, I mean, at least you heal me.
それは別にどうでもいいわ。ねえ、レン君。
Fair point.
場所を変えましょう。こんなところで話してると霞に見つかっちゃいそうだし。
I can agree with this.
困るんじゃない？そうしたらいろいろと。
I gave her a silent nod.
決まりね。じゃあどこがいい？
Maybe?
屋上。
いまいちムードに欠ける選択ね。さてはあなた、まだデートに慣れてないの？
I guess you could say that.
しょうがない。だったら私が教えてあげます。
Huh?
ほら、腕こうやって。
She pointed to my arm as if telling me to open it. Did she want me to wrap mine around hers? Come on.
ああ、ちょっと待ってよ。一人で行くなんて冷たいよ。
Ren, just do it. She has the ability to possibly kill you, okay? Ignoring her pouting, I headed for the roof. It was all an act, and I wouldn't be fooled by her appearance and behavior. Not when I knew what lurked beneath. Couldn't let my guard down. Even with my mind thoroughly exhausted, it seemed like I still had enough willpower left to make that judgment. That's fair. You're thinking about your own safety. That's fine. I understand that. And after arriving at the roof, I walked to the center and turned around, facing Rusalka.
さて、それじゃあどんな話をしようかしら。どういう風にお話しする？
I don't know, do you play Mahjong? The way that beaming innocent smile of hers lacked even the tiniest hint of spite was driving me crazy. But I couldn't allow her to control the flow of the conversation. I had to keep calm if I wanted to get the results I was looking for.
まずいくつか俺の方から質問する。それに答えられる範囲で答えてくれ。ただし、嘘は絶対言うなよ。
了解。じゃあそうしましょう。質問どうぞ。
ああ。
Still reeling in surprise from how readily she agreed to do the whole thing, I mentally prepared the questions I wanted to ask her. What should I ask? Oh! Oh boy! I don't think this is... Yeah, I think we're pretty good. What are you people?
お前らは何者なんだ？
The simplest yet biggest of my questions.
普通じゃないのはわかる。あんなふざけたなりして夜出歩いてる時点でまともじゃない。
Then why were they doing all these things?
お前ら殺人事件に何か関係でもあるのか？
そうね。関係あるのはむしろあなたの方じゃないの？
Okay, she's got me.
俺が犯人だって。
あら、違うのかしら？
Saying that didn't change the fact that I had no idea, or rather, I didn't want to know. I mean, according to all the circumstantial evidence, it was admittedly a rather plausible possibility.
俺に殺人なんかする動機はない。
それが言い訳？理屈としては弱いわね。ここで起こっているのはそんな真っ当なものなのかしら。あなたはどう思っているの？自分でも当てにならないと思ってることは切り札になんかならないよ。もっと現実的になりなさい。そういう素質はありそうだけどね。どんなに不可解でも納得ができなくても他に答えがなければそれが真実。そういう考え方できないの？したくないの？それともするのが怖いのかな？
大きなお世話だ。俺のことなんかどうでもいい。
Yeah, we kind of derailed here. You didn't really answer my question.
聞いてるのは俺の方だ。そもそもお前は質問に答えていない。
確かにそれもそうね。
Rusalka quickly caved in once I raised my voice a little. And as I wondered what she was going to say...
私はリッター。そう思って。
Ritter? Or Rether?
は？
What? I was completely lost.
XS、ナイト、カバリエーレ。つまりは騎士ね。そういうこと。あ、この国の侍ってのとは違うわよ。私たち中とか義とか6とかそういうの持ってないから。
Okay, I get it. You guys really aren't above, playing dirty. Okay, got it.
でもそれだと騎士でもないのかな。ま、別にどうでもいいけど。
Would mercenaries or soldiers kind of be a better term? You seem to have come to some sort of conclusion while leaving me totally in the lurch. Knights in the 21st century? Sound like a bad joke.
真面目に答えろよ。
あ、失礼ね。私嘘なんか言ってないもん。正真正銘の本物だってば。
Okay, I'll take it with a grain of salt. Yeesh.
そりゃ今時剣も鎧もつけてないから分かりづらいかもしれないけど。
No, but you have skin that seems to be as tough, or bodies that seem to be tough as steel.
嘘でも冗談でもないのなら頭のおかしなやつのザレ言だ。
Fred, you're probably treading on thin ice, dude.
なに？さっきはまともじゃないとか言ってたくせにここでそんなこと言い出すんだ。おかしいの。じゃあそうね。今度は別の言い方をしようかな。私に限って言えばリッターでヘクセ。
Reader and a hex?
つまりは魔法使いさんなのだよ。これで少しはピンときたかな？
Okay, I can kind of understand that better.
魔法使いだ。
ほうきに乗って飛んだりはしないけどね。
Her tone sounded playful, but with her it always did. As such, I couldn't really tell if she was being serious or not. I did witness her perform something like magic, though. She healed all my wounds after Wilhelm beat the crap out of me. Was that magic a trick or the real deal? I didn't know, but decided to put that question on hold for now. I highly doubt she would have given me a straight answer anyway.
さ、他に質問は？
I didn't particularly feel like I got a complete answer, but what should I ask? Oh, that's what. Okay. So that's what that was about. Okay, now I understand. There was a setting that somebody told me that I need to turn on to where the colored text. Okay, I get it now. I got it.
ザラトゥストラってのは。
さあ、なんでしょうね。
俺をそう呼んでただろ。
ええ、確かにそうだけど、あなたは否定したじゃない。違うの？
Well, could you tell me a little bit more about Zarathustra?
違わない。
That wasn't my name. But I speculated that this whole Zarathustra thing they kept talking about referred to the killer.
別に話してもいいんだけどね。あなた理解できないでしょうし、どうしようかな。ねえ、レン君、少し聞きたいんだけど、あなた、ご両親は日本の人？
何？
だから、あなたの家系は純粋な日本人かって聞いてるのよ。
Where the hell did that come from? Still, I gave her an honest reply.
大昔のことは知らないけど、じいさんばあさんまでは日本人だ。
Or so I heard.
それがどうした？
なるほど。じゃあ薄いわね。あながち外れてるとも思えないけど。
Are you talking about the possibility of me having some German in my blood, I think?
おい。
I mean, I don't know. There was like, I kind of have this feeling that's what they're trying to, that she's referring to. When would she stop leaving me out of the loop? I had no idea what she was even going on about.
あなたの名字は父方母方
Again, oddly specific.
だからなんでそんなことを聞くんだって言ってんだよ。
Buddy, answer the question.
いやね。みんな気にしてるようだからね。
みんな？
ええ、私の仲間。まだ全員集合してないけどね。半分くらいは揃ってるわ。そのうち勢ぞろいするはずだから、その時のために聞いてるの。
Comrades? Her comrades? That were more like her?
サラトゥストラはメルクリウスのヘビ控えとを受け継いで、同じアーネエルベを持っていると思われる。ごめん。こんな言い方じゃわかんないか。
I'm okay. I'm going to try to use a different terminology here. Zarathustra's thought to have inherited Mercury. Okay. Mercury. Damn it! I can't use different terminology because this is still giving me a headache.
とにかくね、私たちの中に一人だけ付き合い悪いやつがいるのよ。だからサラトゥストラはその代役。欠番要員っていうか番外役者ね。
Oh.
つまりそいつはお前らの仲間だと。
さあどうだろうね。もともと敵なのか味方なのかよくわかんない。いけすかないやつだったから。
Huh. That's
メルクリウスってやつが。
Mercurius. If memory served me right, that was the Latin reading of Mercury, and another name for Hermes from Greek mythology, right? It also referred to the chemical element.
まあとにかく私たちもサラトゥストラについてはよく知らないのよ。5義以上のことは今のところね。だからそうね、気になるならニーチェの本でも読んでみるといいんじゃない？ドイツ語版でよかったら貸してあげるよ。
Nice.
いや、いい。
Ignoring the fact that I couldn't even read German, I had no intention of borrowing anything from her. Forget it, let's stop here. Okay, where's that other guy?
もう一人いただろう。あいつはどこに？
レイのこと？
Yeah, that guy.
そう、そいつだ。
That pale, white-haired man. He felt like the biggest threat. I felt like I could still more or less talk to Sakurai and Rusalka, but you couldn't even hold a proper conversation with that guy. Just the thought of him still being in this city made my heart race. Rusalka let out a giggle, as if she'd figured out the source of my discomfort from my behavior.
嫌われてるわね、あいつったら。まあ、いつものことだけど。レイは、いや、そうね。あいつはビルヘルム・エーレンブルグって名前なんだけど、覚えてる？
I remembered the Wilhelm, not the Ehrenberg.
ああ、
似合わないけど上品な名前でしょ？笑っていいわよ。構わないから。
Wilhelm. I wasn't sure, but it sounded like a Central European name. But in that case...
なんで別の名前で呼ばれてる？いや、あいつだけじゃない。お前も桜井も。
Yes, please, tell me, why? I remembered them referring to each other with these peculiar names.
それはね、ちょっとしたあだ名みたいなものなのよ。
Oh.
性格とか特性とか、そういうのに合わせて入団するときに決められるの。私はどうでもよかったけど、創立者の趣味だね、あれは。で、レイがどこにいるかだけど、正直なところわかんないな。
Huh? Are you just letting him wander around freely?
ちょっと何よ、本当にわかんないんだからしょうがないでしょ。もしかして
半分は。
They didn't seem like the kind to bother keeping track of each other, but I very much doubted she couldn't at least make an educated guess.
町にいるのかいないのか、それくらいわかるんじゃないのか。
知らないわよ、そんなことは。気まぐれなやつだし、どこかで遊んでるんじゃないかしら。
Define playing.
ただ昼間のうちは外に出ないと思うけどね。
それはどういう。
教えない。なんか頭にきちゃったから、この話はもうおしまいよ。
Sorry. Pouting, she sulkily turned away from me. Oh well. It wasn't intentional, but it was best not to anger her. Why'd you come to this city?
じゃあなんでこの町に来た。一体何が目的で。
そんなの聞いてどうするのよ。
どうするも何も、それがわからなきゃ安心できない。
分かれば安心できるとも限らないでしょ。
Yeah.
安心できないようなことなのか。
どうだかね。
Stop playing with me! Rusalka sounded another giggle while giving me a meaningful look. Was it in her nature to lord over others? If so, that was nothing to be proud of.
お前、俺をイラつかせて楽しいのかよ。答える気がないなら素直にそう言え。
そう言ったらレン君は納得するの？
まあしないと思うが。
でしょ？だから私困ってるんじゃない。
She sure as hell didn't look troubled. Damn, we're not gonna get any further at this rate.
まあまあ短気は良くないわよ。もっと我慢強いタイプだと思ってたけど、案外そうでもないみたいね。私としても聞かれたことぐらいは答えてあげたいつもりだよ。でもそのまま言って理解できるとも思えないし、もしかしたらデタラメ言うなって怒られるかもしれないじゃない。そういうのお互い嫌でしょ。でも慌てるのは優雅じゃないし、いろいろ言葉を選んでるのよ。だからそっちも真摯になってくれないかな。
Alright, alright.
ねえ、どう？
Well, to be fair, you can kill me. I guess it certainly wouldn't hurt for me to try to be a little bit more gentlemanly-like so I don't get on your bad side. Seemed like I had no choice.
分かったよ。さっきも言ったが、嘘言わないならそれでいい。だから。
いやーもうレン君って優しいね。大好き。
Huh?
急に抱きついてくるな。ふざけてないでさっさと話せよ。
Also, I feel like you're breaking my spine.
何よもう、このテレ屋さんめが。
She began to reluctantly back away. Was she really the same person from that night? I felt somewhat perplexed.
私たちがこの町に来た目的はね、大まかに言うと約束を果たすため。
A promise?
もうずーっと前にみんな揃って約束したの。いつか目的を果たしましょうって。内容は一人一人で違うんだけど、その前提条件としてやらなきゃいけないことがあるからそれをなすの。
Oh.
そのためにはこの町に来ないといけなくて、レン君や他の人にも協力してもらわないといけないわけ。
So you
こ
want
ん
me
な
on
感
yours?
じで今はダメかな。
So you want me on your side? Honestly, I didn't understand any of the main points.
協力って俺や他の連中に何をさせるつもりなんだよ。
別に何もしなくて構わないわよ。ただいてくれるだけでいいから。
And do what?
何？
What in the world did that mean?
だから言ったところで理解なんかできないってば。あなたが本当にメルクリウスの縁者ならこれでピンとくるはずなんだけどな。
Well, there's also the possibility that if I am tied to Mercurius, he didn't want me to know everything beforehand. I guess to make it more entertaining or something? Well, it didn't. Like, at all.
というわけでこの話はもうおしまい。焦らなくてもいずれわかるようになるかもしれないし。そんな顔しないでよ。別にひどいことしようとか思ってないから信用して。
Okay.
できるのかよ。
それはあなたが決めることでしょ。違う？
I figured I'd thrown her off for now, but it didn't look like I'd be getting anything else out of prodding this topic. Okay, only one question left. What do you plan to do with me?
お前ら俺をどうするつもりだ。
どうするって？
さらって拷問にでもかける気か。
はあ？何それ？レン君そんな趣味があるわけ？
No!
やだもうやめてよね。ちょっともうその発想面白すぎ。
To be fair, your buddy did beat me within an inch of my life. Then again, you did heal me. Rusalka began to convulse with laughter, almost as if she had just heard a clever joke.
いやごめん困ったな。ちょっと待って。レン君あんまり真顔で言うもんだからおかしくて。
Jesus. During her continuing fit of laughter, all I could feel was anger.
面白い発想で悪かったな。初対面で殺そうとしやがったくせに。
Correction, Wilhelm tried to kill me. And who exactly transferred to my school the next day, only to make my life a waking nightmare? I'd barely slept at all thanks to her.
いやごめんなさい。なかなか想像力が豊かみたいで。いや若いって素晴らしい。それでさらって拷問？ないない、そんなこと考えてないから安心してよ。大丈夫大丈夫。あーやだ、もしかして怒ってる？だったらごめんね。機嫌直して。
She talked like she was pacifying a toddler. I didn't want to hear that from someone in the same grade as me. Then again, me losing my temper would only give her more reason to treat me like a child.
それで結局答えの方は？
それはね、正直特に考えていないのよ。なんていうかな、初対面の時はいろいろあれしちゃったじゃない？でもね、あなたが違うなら別にどうでもいいっていうか、わざわざ追っかけてきたりしないっていうか。
But what if it turned out I was the one that you were looking for?
だからこれは偶然なのよ。ここに来たのは別にあなたをどうこうしようなんて理由じゃなくて。
おいちょっと待て。
Did I just hear her right?
偶然だと？
そうよ、私たちが選んだ先に偶然あなたがいたってだけ。こう言ったら信じるかな？
No way. But it didn't look like she was lying either.
じゃあ俺がここにいたのは偶然として、お前らがここを選んだのも偶然なのか？
おお、鋭いね。いいよいいよ、やっぱりあなた結構キレる。
茶化すなよ。
ごめんね、これ勝負だから。
Okay.
それでさっきの質問に対してだけど、答えはいいえ。ちゃんとそれなりの意味があるわよ。
Care to elaborate those reasons for me, please?
ここは何かと私たちにとって都合がいいから。潜伏しやすいし、いざという時に融通も利くし、手間も省けるし。で、あれ、もしかして私不安にさせちゃったかな？
Well, me personally, just a little bit confused, really.
別に。
In short, it sounded like they had business with the school itself, not me specifically. As for what that could have been, I had no clue.
俺には興味がないってことでいいのか？
そうでもないわよ。あなたがここにいるって分かった時は嬉しかったし、それにもしかしたらこれもお約束の枠内かもしれないしね。個人的にもあなたに興味は尽きないわ。だってほら、何か運命的なものを感じるじゃない？
そうだな。
It did indeed feel like this was all fate playing a cruel prank on me, right after I wanted to never meet these guys ever again. I suppose this is good enough for now. Leaning on the fence, I gazed up at the sky above while trying to think over the conversation I'd just had. I didn't feel like I understood any of the important stuff at all, but now I guess I'd at least know what hit me if I stepped on another one of their damn landmines. I took a deep breath in an attempt to calm myself down. I had to get my act together. What was I supposed to do now? How was I to deal with this? I couldn't understand half of what they were saying, but deep down, there was one thing I intuitively knew. Even if I was not in any immediate danger, I couldn't be optimistic about the situation. After all,
ルサルカ、
何？
she was nuts. Abnormal. No matter how thick of a mask she put on, it couldn't mask the aura of danger she exuded.
お前が
If these people...
この学校で少しでも。
妙な真似をしたら許さないかしら？本当に勇敢だよね、レン君は。あの時だってそう、レイに立ち向かう姿勢なんて感動ものだったわよ。正しく男の子してるよね。でも勝てない相手に挑むのが勇気と言わないことくらいわかるよね。
That was reckless, rash courage, a foolish act of narcissism. Yeah, I didn't know that much, which is why I couldn't say anything to it. A person who only fought those they could beat was a coward, but someone who was all bark and no bite ended up being a fool, nothing more.
あなたはそんなバカじゃない。だから私考えちゃうのよ。もしかしたら勝てる算段があったりするんじゃないのかなってね。言ったでしょ、あの時も。何かやろうとしてたんじゃないのって。
別に買いかぶりだ。
そう？じゃあ単純に大和魂ってやつだったの？武士道精神、神風特攻、敵前逃亡は士道不覚悟みたいな。今こんな状況に身を置いていることも含めてね。
Rusalka gave her head a purposeful tilt. Damn it. Anyway, silence was no good. At this point, it felt like I was a mouse being toyed with by a cat. She could kill me like a fly at the tiniest of mistakes. I was very much walking on thin ice here. With that said, though...
私、これでも結構人生経験豊富なのよね。
I'm not doubting that.
あなたの目には何かこう確信っていうのかな、自信みたいなものの色が見えるんだけど、もしかしてさ、自分はここで死ぬ人間じゃないとかって思ってる？
This was exactly the same as back then. Tell me, have you ever experienced the sensation of foreknowledge? Ascribing validity to foreknowledge is indeed in your very nature. You remain unlike one such as I, who craves desperately for the unknown. Hate her and love her. Protect her and destroy her. Act as my substitute and lay waste to this law, this ghetto. I unknowingly staggered back a few steps. Rusalka laughed, yet her eyes gleamed with the same blade-like chill from that night last week. I felt dread, not from that stare, but the meaning behind her words. I wouldn't die here, so no matter how rash or foolish an action I took, the worst-case scenario would not come to pass. If so, I had nothing to fear. I felt certain of it. Like I had already known. Impossible. No, that couldn't be. I had no such power. I pressed my hand against my mouth, trying to fight off a sudden onset of nausea. After a few moments of simply staring at me, Rusalka spoke up in a sing-song voice.
あなた、とても面白いね。強いのか弱いのかわからない。黒いのか白いのかわからない。とても半端で、なんか変。ほんと、よくわからない。
And with that, Rusalka walked right past me.
おい、
大丈夫よ、心配しないで。レオンに合わせてあげなくちゃいけないし、 おかしなことはしないわよ。でもね、
Rusalka turned around to look at me, eyes narrowed. Her shadow was reflected against the wire mesh fence by the midday sun. There was something mysteriously suspicious about her silhouette.
私もう昔とは違うんだよ。今ならザミエルにもシュライバーにもマキナにだって負けやしない。だからあんまり甘く見てると食べちゃうからね。
I'm not in divorce, so no thank you. She then began to walk off, deciding to throw in a few barefaced remarks.
私は仲良くしたいと思ってるのよ。だってレン君可愛いしね。
Thanks?
じゃあね、また教室で会いましょう。
Okay. And then she left, her sudden cheeriness in complete contrast to the conversation we just had a minute before. As I was seeing her off, my lips unconsciously formed a few words.
冗談だろ。
Get along with me? What a joke. Glancing towards the wire fence, I noticed that the area touched by her shadow, and only that area, had crumbled away. It fell apart along with the rust attached to it, almost like it had been there for decades. It no longer had any use as a fence. What would happen if she did the same thing in class? If it ever came to that, I'd have to do something about it, but... What was I thinking just now? It was only for a moment, but I wished I could be just like them. Seriously? What was wrong with me? I was a human being, not a monster. I was not that Mercurius or that Zarathustra they were talking about. No chance in hell! An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, and a monster for a monster? A banal idea like that felt more like running from reality, if anything. It was thoroughly pointless, holding less value than someone's inane ramblings. I wanted neither to flee or lose. I couldn't let those guys stay in the school. I had to use my head and do something. But what? I feebly lied down on the ground, spreading my limbs out. Thinking wouldn't get me an answer. It never would.
前から思ってたんだがよ。あのバカ、なんであんなに口軽いんだ?
Okay. I'm going to end it there. Because that was a very bizarre date, if you could call it that. Okay, I gained some information, yet I didn't gain much of anything. Also, we've basically got two of these people, Rusalka and Sakurai, basically keeping an eye out. I'm not entirely sure what they've got planned at this school, but clearly it can't be good. Clearly I must have some connection with this Mercurius guy. I mean, we're already getting, you know, he mentioned something about having foreknowledge, stuff like that. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm starting to think it should be painfully obvious that my character is, you know, a substitute for Mercurius. Which makes me wonder if I'm going to have, like, any of the, you know, abilities that Mercurius has, such as having foreknowledge. But I'm imagining that's not going to actually be the case. Like, I'm thinking that I'm not going to have any foreknowledge ability. Like, I'm guessing maybe, I don't know. Maybe Mercurius kind of designed his substitute specifically to not have foreknowledge to make things a little bit more interesting. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. Other than that, I need to go change my pants because I'm pretty sure I was losing control of my bowels there. Dear God. How can somebody be so threatening yet so confusing? I don't know. Ugh. I'm not even sure I'm going to be ready for the rest of this novel. I'm just going to end it right here, so thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Hello there everybody, Sabato92 here, and if you like this video, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. And hey, if you guys like my content, then maybe you'd like to check out another channel who I think deserves equal attention. So click that nightmare emblem and check out that channel, or go to the links in the description down below. Once again, thank you, and I'll see you guys in the next video.